everything that has transpired up until this point has just been disappointing and frustrating. I've wanted to continue my career here. I've created my life here. My wife and I have bought our first home here. So this has been somewhere where I've always wanted to be.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Shane Mack here with Just Win Bets, baby. Joe the Fan, Terry McLaurin. He had a press conference today, and he talked about how he feels disrespected and how the team hasn't even reached out to him in over a month about his contract. What do you thought? What are your thoughts about Terry McLaurin and what's going on with Washington?
Well, he should be getting the money. Let's start off there. Wilson just got signed. Garrett Wilson just got an extension, right? So I don't think that and I'm not trying to compare the two. Garrett Wilson is in his own, has his own contract, stuff like that. He got his extension. I'm very happy for him. In regards to Terry, I just don't understand. I'll say I'll be good cop, bad cop kind of thing here. The bad one is I don't understand why a lot of the athletes lately just don't play out their contract, their original contract. So that bothers me. And maybe I'm a little old school. Now, does he deserve an extension? Sure. I think he needs to honor his contract. I recently met Terry, or Mr. McLaurin, as I like to be respectful, a couple weeks ago. Very nice guy, very uplifting guy. I think he does deserve the respect from the Washington Skins. I think that they are going to, of course, pay him, hopefully before training camp, which we're going by the clock there, Shano. Training camp starts in about a week or two, I believe 2 weeks. So I think they'll get something done because now that Wilson is done, should he get paid? Yes. The only bad thing I don't, and he's done a lot for the community, a lot for Washington, etc. The only thing that I would kind of add like a little dash mark or hash mark to it is him not honoring his contract. We gave him an extension, made him a captain, Washington did, but honor the contract. After that, hey, you become an unrestricted free agent or restricted, what have you, and then you can see what your market is worth. So I would honor the original contract. Does he deserve the extension? Absolutely. I think he's the heart and soul of this team. But don't be. I'm not understanding from Terry, why do you need the extension? I mean, you're going to get paid somewhere. Maybe not here at Washington, maybe somewhere else. But if that is the case, and there's always two sides of the coin there, Shano, as you know, from management and from the player side. I'm not insinuating that Terry is lying or anything like that. Maybe his agent's telling him one thing, or I don't know. But the issue is, if that is the case, I'm very disappointed in the Washington organization. I give kudos. I'm jumping off ship here, what they did with Art Monk, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But in regards to Terry, honor the contract. I think he will get the extension. Hopefully it gets done within the next 2 weeks.
Part of me is that old school thing too, but what sucks now with the current CBA, and this is kind of the NFL Players Association's fault, right? Terry McLaurin's getting up there with this is going to be his last big payday, his last big contract. Because he's about to turn 30 years old, if he's not 30 years old already, right? So this is going to be his last big payday. He might get another contract after that, but it's not going to be $30 million contract after this one coming up, right? So what kind of screws them over right now is that with the current CBA, teams can franchise tag you 2 times. So if he plays out his contract, franchise tag, and then he's not on a long-term deal, the Redskins can just be like, all right, we're done with you. See you on your way. And then he doesn't have that security. So I think that's why he doesn't want to go into like a lame duck contract year right now, because that's what he has, is just under contract for the season, where he wants at least like a 3 or 4 year commitment. So I think what they should do is at least extend him for 3 years. Do a 3-year extension, lock him up to his 34, and then after that, deal with it after that. But yeah, and then if you think about it, from Mike Florio, I saw today, reported that he's asking for over $30 million, is what Terry McLaurin is asking for. And last he heard, Washington was in the Mike Evans extension range, which is about $28 million. So it sounds like they're very close. Sounds like they're close. DK Metcalf just got paid, and he was in the same draft year as Terry McLaurin. So their contract years line up with each other, right? So he was on the last year of his contract. He just got paid, when they got traded to the Steelers, and they gave him $33 million a year. So I bet you that's what Terry's looking for, is to get on the same level as DK Metcalf. Because, I mean, if you look at the numbers, they're very similar. And DK Metcalf played with a lot better quarterbacks. He played with Russell Wilson for most of his career so far.
Sure.
And then Terry McLaurin had 12, 13 different quarterbacks throw him the ball.
Yeah.
in the 6 years he's played, right?
Sure.
But it makes me mad as a Washington fan, because Terry is the guy who has done everything you can ask of. He's a leader in the locker room.
Absolutely.
He's great in the community. He does all the hard work. He does all the things that he blocks well for a receiver. He does not. He's been through so much dysfunction in this franchise for the last 6 years. We haven't heard one peep about him at all. Nothing negative. This is the first time I've actually heard him speak out negatively against this organization. First time ever, and it's surprising because there's a lot of negative stuff that's going on in this organization.
Sure. I don't look at it as it being negative, but again, I did meet the young man. But I will say this in regard to the front office, just sign him. I mean, nothing's guaranteed. Your signing bonus is guaranteed. You know, you get a signing bonus. Let's make the signing bonus maybe a little bit higher. That's fantastic. But nothing's guaranteed. You could sign him for 5 years, and after the third year or second year or whatever, cut him. We're done. You know, I mean, obviously it would hit X amount of dollars in the salary cap, yada, 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 but nothing's guaranteed. It's not like baseball. It's not like NBA where everything is guaranteed. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that the NFL players deserve guaranteed contracts. Some do get some and some don't. That being said, hey, you got drafted. That's great. You played with some crappy quarterbacks. Sure. But that's the business. The business is you as an athlete, in my opinion, you want to be in the NFL, and that's great. You work very hard. I'm not taking anything away from Terry. I think Terry's a great guy. I'm kind of bothered by calling him Terry. So I don't know Mr. McLaurin, but you know, I'll be respectful. The point is, it's a business. It's nothing different from serving tables. Sure, if you give good service, you should get a minimum of 20%. I give 20%, even before, like when it was 15 years and years ago. Hey, if the guy gave good or lady, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Okay, gave good service. I'm going to get you 20%, if not at least minimum. So my minimum has always been 20%, 20%. Same thing with the business. But as my analogy with the server is, if you don't get a tip, hey, that's what you're part of that business. You decide to be in that business. So you decide to be an NFL player, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. And he does a great job. Fantastic. But that being said, you know, you have a contract. You should honor it. Now, should you get the extension? I don't dispute that. But if you're looking for $30 million, I see where you're coming from, Shano, where, hey, this is maybe his last hurrah. But, I mean, I think I don't think you can compare him. You mentioned the name of Mike Evans. I don't think Terry McLaurin is in that level. I don't think he's in that same sentence as DK Metcalf. Is he up there? Sure. But I don't think I would put him in that class. He should get paid, but asking for $30 million, that's a little steep. I would say 25, minimum 25. We can go up, but minimum 25.
Yeah, if you look at the stat, I mean, Mike Evans is older than McLaurin, so I mean that's why he's paid a little bit less. If he was Terry's age, I'm sure he would still get DK Metcalf money. But yeah, but Metcalf and Terry's stats, if you look at them, they're very, 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 very similar. And what would hurt McLaurin though, I think, is that he is, like, even Metcalf, I think, is only 27, so he's still like 2 or 3 years older than Metcalf is, which hurts him because he stayed in college an extra year because he didn't get the playing time when he first got to Ohio State. So he stayed there an extra year. So he's a little bit older than most people in his draft class, which is hurting him now when it comes to this contract stuff. I just think it's a bad look for your organization when the heart and soul of your team is unhappy. That's all I think it is. And I think that he really is the heart and soul of the team. He's been there. He's one of the most longest tenured guys there. It's like him and Tress Way, I think. They're like the two longest tenured guys in the team now. And he's a captain that does everything that's supposed to be done. And I think he's worth more than what he's getting paid for sure. And hopefully they work it out, because I don't want to see him get holding out and not showing up training camp. And I definitely don't want to see him miss any games.
No, I don't either. But I think great scenario. They get it done right before training camp. And this isn't our first rodeo there, Shano, where we've seen this happen. That's the best scenario. Worst case, I think they get it done by week 2 of preseason, between week 2 and week 3. Because it doesn't, I mean, he's proven himself. There's no way you're going to go out there anyway. So he should be ready by week 1. And I think everybody's a little rusty anyway. But that being said, let me ask you this, Shana. What did Wilson get?
He got 130 years. 130 years. That'd be a long contract.
That'd be a long
130 million, 4 years is what he got. Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
And I don't think he's going to get that big. But I could see him getting DK Metcalf money, right? So what's 130 divided by 4? That's 30. That's 32 million.
Yeah,
right?
it's about 32. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 33. So yeah, so he could probably get that. He's right. I mean, if you look at stats, he's better than Garrett Wilson. He's put up better stats than Garrett Wilson. I know Garrett Wilson's in the same boat that he was in, where he didn't have the best quarterbacks on the ball. But Terry's had 1,000 yards receiving every single year he's been in the league, even with those crappy quarterbacks.
Sure, absolutely.
He finally got an all-star last year, and then Terry looked like a great all-star because he actually had a competent quarterback throwing the ball, and last year was by far his most productive season.
So again, I'm disappointed in the press conference. Again, I understand he's frustrated. I completely understand. If I was in his position, I completely understand. Terry, no one's disrespect. I hope you don't look at it as, hey, they don't value you in the community. I find it very hard to believe that they not value you in the organization. I see where you're coming from when it comes to the business, but you have to look at Washington's business as well. We can't keep you forever or pay you, Albert Haynesworth money, Deion Sanders money, Bruce Smith money, you know what I'm saying? From all of the stuff that's happened before. I know that may not be, it's totally irrelevant, but if you look at the history of the Washington Redskins, they have given people millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and it's cost the organization money. Kirk Cousins with a franchise tag. That's just to name a few. So you deserve to get paid, get an extension. Let's be also honest that I don't think we win those games in the playoff without him, especially against Detroit. So, and I'm not taking anything away from the defense or anybody else. On the offensive side of the ball, he is the heart and soul. I don't think we beat Cincinnati on Monday night. I'm just saying, with a rookie quarterback, before we knew what's going on, etc. Yes, I think he's the either you can call him the Batman and the Robin of Jaden Daniels, what have you. But he's the oil if Jaden Daniels is the engine, if you know what I mean. So he definitely needs to get paid. I agree. But if he's on his last year of his contract, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how Josh Harris and Peters feel about this. I don't think you trade him. I really don't. I mean, if you're going to do that, then do it now for somebody younger. Again, it's a business.
Yeah. What you just said about Jaden Daniels is exactly right. We don't win that game against Detroit probably without him. Remember that screen he took to the house against Detroit?
Yep.
And then against the Eagles, I mean, we got beat by the Eagles in the playoffs, but he took a slant 60 yards to the house against the Eagles. So, I mean, he's an incredible player. He is. And let's not take away.
And let's not. I don't mean to cut you off there, Shane, but let's not take away the Dallas Cowboys. We lost that game.
Yeah.
Okay, but he took it to the house.
Yeah.
That we lose it with 10 seconds, 20. Anyway,
it's true. Yeah, and that's my key. I would feel different if they did something at the position where we were successfully set up, where if we lost him, we wouldn't be in a bad spot.
Right.
But without him, our wide receiver room is garbage. I mean, we have Deebo Samuel, who the 49ers cut because he said he was too fat. So we don't even know. Hopefully he's in shape now. And then they didn't cut him. We traded for him. But I mean, they gave him away for nothing, though. They gave him away for like a bag of chips, pretty much. Right? hopefully he's in shape and he comes in here. Adam Peters knows him very well because he was in 49ers organization. And hopefully he comes in and he does great. But we don't, without Terry, we don't have that guy who can do it all. We don't have the guy who can go deep. We don't have a guy who can take that slant to the house. We don't have that guy, and that scares the crap out of me if he doesn't come back, because we don't have any other receivers. We have nobody if he's not there.
All right, so 3 years I could see. Longer than that, I don't see it. I mean, you got McCaffrey, and again, I'm not knocking any other receivers out there, but that's what you have on the roster. Who else on the current roster that we have? We have, of course, Debo, which I've seen video of him. He's looking pretty good. He looked slow as dirt, and maybe he's hitting the McDonald's a couple times, but I seen it on a treadmill recently. Holy smokes! If that's what we're getting, that I'm good with that. He's buffed up.
If he's Debo from a couple years ago, I love that signing first of all, because he can do a little bit of all, but he still can't take the top off a defense. He's never had that top end speed like Terry has.
Sure.
Right. So that's a little different there. Yeah, but you got McCaffrey. Who else do we got? We got Noah Brown. If he gets signed back, I think they signed Michael Gallup. I mean, he's like way past his prime.
Yeah.
Who else they got? KJ Osborne, I think's on the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm saying, outside of Terry, you got Debo, and they're hoping Luke McCaffrey makes a big jump next, and I think he will.
I think he will.
But he's still an unknown. You don't know that, right?
Sure.
So, I hope they do sign it. I hope we're just worrying about nothing, and he's in training camp here in 2 weeks, and we can all just be at ease, because I think he's probably the most beloved player in our franchise right now, and I think the fan base really wants him back.
Again, the two knocks that I have for him is honor the contract. I understand where he's coming from with the extension. I completely understand and I get it, but also saying that he doesn't feel valued. Appreciate you saying it in a professional way, but I can assure you, I don't think the organization feels that way. I see where he is coming from. I completely understand, but Terry, you're going to get paid. I promise you, you're going to get paid. He's a great athlete, great young man. I have nothing but great things to say about him. But the fans saying, pay Terry, relax. He's going to get paid. I trust Peters. He's done a great job. Peters has done a great job. So Adam Peters is on it. But I think, I'm not saying he's not the better man, but kind of be the better man. Don't say anything. Just, hey, let the chips fall where they fall, and it'll pan out for him. That's the way I see it. I would have handled it that way.
Yeah. Hopefully it gets done soon. So in other Redskins news, we talked about that. You kind of hit on this a little bit earlier.
Yep.
But Art Monk, the great Art Monk, Hall of Fame, Art Monk, number 81, finally being retired by the Commanders, by the Washington football team, by the Redskins. I loved Art Monk back in the day. I was very young when he was still playing for the Redskins, but Art Monk's jersey is getting retired November 2nd against the Seattle Seahawks, which is a primetime game. They'll probably do it at halftime like they usually do. They might do it the night before. They haven't released that yet. But Seattle, November 2nd against Seattle, and that is also the date where they're releasing. We're going to be wearing the new jerseys, the new Super Bowl era jerseys. So it lines up perfectly with a man who won those Super Bowls to bring out those Super Bowl era jerseys. Great move by the organization. I think Art Monk and Terry McLaurin has a lot in common with Art Monk. Both hardworking guys, both incredible receivers. I think they are very parallel to each other. But Art Monk, the best receiver that's ever played for our organization. A round of applause for them for finally retiring his number.
Yes, I 150% agree with you, Shano. I think this proves what the hell was Daniel Snyder thinking or doing. What was Vinny Serrato thinking or doing? I mean, there's obviously other GM to happen after that. Jason Wright, I understand he was not a GM or what, but he was part of the organization. Doug Williams, to me, he was with Snyder, but then maybe his hands were tied. We don't know what's behind the scenes. I saw the video. I almost cried. I'm so happy for Art Monk. I met the man. He signed one of my, here's one that's from Gary Clark as well, who gave him, you see that there from Gary. I have an Art Monk. Trust me. I met the man a couple times. Very quiet, very professional. You know, he minds his own business, comes in. He's old school. It reminds me of a blue collar worker, just brings his lunchbox, shows up to work, clocks in, clocks out, done. Love the guy. Love 81. I am extremely happy for Art Monk and his family and everything he's done. Completely way overdue. I think, again, Josh Harris and his organization hit the nail on the coffin, or hit the nail on the head, pretty much. Okay. I have nothing but I'm extremely happy. The only thing that I'm disappointed in is, of course, it's taken this so long to do that, and also the logo. But everything else, I remember where he passed the record against Denver. It was, I believe, a Monday Night Football game, and I saw it live as a kid. So, you know, I understand that he I believe he played for the Jets after us, for a year or two.
The Eagles too.
Or the Eagles.
The Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was green. So, hey, it's bit like I said before, it's business. So, Art Monk, very happy for you. True, you talk about Washington Redskin. He is definitely Hall of Fame Washington Redskin. I'm not taking anything away from Larry Clark, Rigo, Jacoby, Grimm, Theismann, Rippon. I mean, the list goes on and on. Okay. But Art Monk is definitely up there. I say top 3, at least top 3.
Yeah, if we were doing a Mount Rushmore of Redskins players, he's definitely on that Mount Rushmore. And like you said, it's for a long time for the Redskins, the only number that was retired was Sammy Ball's 33. And that was forever. And then finally they started bringing in some new numbers. They retired Bobby Mitchell, the 49. Sonny Jurgensen's number retired, number 9. Sean Taylor's 21. Darryl Green's 28. And then now finally Art Monk's 81. And thank God, because Art Monk is the man. I met Art Monk also. The first time I met Art Monk, I was 10 years old. And I was at his he used to have an Art Monk football camp. He had an Art Monk football camp he held at George Mason University every single year.
Yep.
And I was a part of that. It was a sleepaway camp. You went to the camp, you slept on the bed, in the dorm rooms, and then you went and played. And it was a cool camp. The camp was run. Art Monk did it, but it was a bunch of former and current NFL players and coaches that like coached you up like while you were doing it as like these kids. It was awesome. Like I was getting coached how to play. I was an offense lineman, defense lineman, and I was getting coached how to run block by Joe Jacoby. And I was like, it was amazing as a 10-year-old that I'm around like all these guys I looked up to, and it was a cool camp, and it was awesome. One of the best times of my life, and I still remember to this day. And I was a little kid back then.
Art Monk, I found it. It's right here. Art Monk.
Yeah, nice.
Right there, and the Hall of Fame. They did that
to show the Hall of Fame. Do you remember when he got inducted? They had like a standing ovation for like 10 minutes straight. Everybody just like clapping and like just cheering, and because like he got. I don't know if he was blackballed or the committee. The committee, who the hell knows what the committee's thinking? I don't know what took him so long to get into there, but it took him like 5 or 6 years after he was eligible to finally get in. And then everybody was so pissed, and then finally he got in, and everybody was so happy and like they're relieved that he finally got in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there it is. Art Monk. We got a little close up there.
Yeah, you can see that. That's nice.
Class act guy. I don't know what more I could say about Art Monk. Humble. Yeah, I know about a friend of mine I went to high school with, attended one of those camps. He learned a lot based on his experience. So I'm happy for him. But I do remember the camps. But the times that I've met him, class act. No question about it. I'm extremely happy for him. Again, I only had a chance to watch half that video that they did. You know, Doug Williams had the boss, Mr. Harris, and Gary Clark showing up at his doorstep and got surprised. He sent out a video out afterwards, and you can watch that on the Washington, the C word on X. So, yeah. I'm very happy for him, and I'm glad that they're retiring his jersey. He actually he signed it And Shano, it's the curved.
Yeah,
I love the curved one. So
I
happy for
like
you.
that one too.
I'm very happy for you, Art.
But way to go, Art. Way to go, Art. We're both fans, and way to go, Commanders, to finally get him in there. And who do you think's next? If you think someone else is getting the jersey number retired, think it's Rigo? Rigo's isn't retired. But who do you
I
think it
think
would
Rigo should be there. But what about Joe Jacoby?
be? Yeah, we need to get him in the Hall of Fame first.
Yeah, that's
I'm
it.
surprised. I'm surprised he's not in there yet.
Yeah,
Still,
yeah. I mean, every time I'm going back to Art Monk real quick, it's the posse. I can see it in my head right now, in my mind. You know, they're doing it's the Smurf. They're doing the fun bunch in the end zone. I'm extremely happy for Art Monk, and he deserves a standing ovation. Absolutely.
yeah, definitely. Hell of a player. All right, fans. Thanks for listening to us. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell notification so you can get notified every time we drop a new video. Let us know. Talk to us in the comments. What do you think? What do you think about Terry McLaurin? Should he get paid? How much is he worth? Is he worth what DK Metcalf just got? What are your thoughts? What do you think the Commanders are thinking about, like, when they're working with him? And who do you think would be the next Redskin / Commander football player to be retired, to have their jersey number retired? Art Monk is getting his number retired. Who do you think is next? All right. Well, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.